Thanks for having us here today in Beechworth and the Keep Australia Beautiful Awards. So today I'm going to be talking about two of our projects from the 10 that were entered, and that was for the Rye Coastal Wetland, and that's in the Water Conservation and Protection category, and Rye, a Foreshore for All, in the Liveable Communities category. So it's no coincidence that these two projects are driven by the Rye Community Group Alliance. It's a community group whose membership is drawn from executive representatives from key stakeholders in the town, and that includes the Rye Primary School and Preschool, Rye Football and Netball Club, Rye Tennis Club, Rye Historical Society, Rye Lions Club, Rye Community Centre and businesses. The chairperson of that alliance is Mechelle Cheers, and she's here with us today, just over the back there. She's the driver of a lot of these projects, so definitely ask her the questions. The bulk of the questions, not so much me. All right. So she spearheaded a bunch of other projects, including conserving vulnerable Moonah Woodlands and highlighting Bunurong cultural heritage in Rye. So Rye has a vibrant community. You can see members of the Rye Beach Patrol here in the centre, an initiative which we nominated for the Little Prevention category. And there are lots of great projects happening in Rye, so we'll get started with these ones. So Rye is located about 85 kilometres south of Melbourne on the Mornington Peninsula. We've got 192 kilometres of coastline. At the moment, we're most famous for the landslide that's ongoing in Macrae, unfortunately. It lies between the open waters of Bass Strait in the south, as more of an ocean-based area, and then we have the calmer waters of Port Phillip Bay to the north. So Rye is known for its relaxed coastal lifestyle. We've got beautiful beaches on both the north and the south side, a biodiverse natural environment, including the threatened Moonah Woodland and a vibrant community. The Moonah Woodland's really awesome. There's trees there that are up to 500, 600 years old that live in communities there. So we're honoured to be here today, and thanks for the opportunity. So Rye Coastal Wetland is an award-winning community-driven project. The Shire, it's home to roughly 10% of Victoria's coastline, and only a small fraction of these, of its 150 foreshore outlets, less than 15% have filtration assets. So this project was initiated by the Rye Community Group Alliance, who were concerned about the stormwater runoff into Port Phillip Bay at Rye Foreshore. A community survey they conducted found that 70% of the locals prioritised clean water. So the original stormwater outlet, seen on the left there, not so nice. It's nestled between a popular foreshore camping area in Rye West Foreshore Camping and the Rye Beach. It's long been identified through beach cleanups and by community members as an area needing significant improvement. The stormwater flowed through an open channel onto the sand, and it resulted in ponding and stagnation and not a very hygienic environment for foreshore users and wildlife alike. All right. So calls from the community for a proactive solution spurred the Shire, along with a diverse range of stakeholders, to review the issue and to take some action. The project began with community consultation and an environmental assessment and feasibility study. And this was managed and delivered by the Shire and DECA, as well as Melbourne Water, who provided guidance, technical expertise, and regulatory oversight. Stakeholder engagement was integral throughout the entire project. And the ending result and design was an engineered bioinfiltration basin, which included the installation of over 10,000 Indigenous plants. This wetland removes pollutants from stormwater, improving water quality before it enters into Port Phillip Bay. It also included the addition of an upgraded boardwalk and extension, which further improved beach accessibility as well as public engagement. So being located on a dynamic coastline, projects like these face significant challenges from sand migration, prevailing winds, storm surges, as well as the anticipation of sea level rise, significant up to 1.1 metres in Port Phillip Bay by 2100, as well as fluctuating groundwater levels and the complexities of construction on sand dunes. So in response, the design is a nature-based approach by positioning the basin behind the primary dune, and this acts as a natural vegetation barrier. Throughout construction, the Shire and the contractor adapted to all these unforeseen issues, such as the high seasonal groundwater levels as they emerged, and made sure they're all on top of it. So the project brought together a diverse group of stakeholders committed to protecting and enhancing the local coastal environment. As we discussed, Mechelle, the chairperson of the group, was key in those, alongside the Rye Coastal Advisory Group, the Rye Beach Community Action Group, Friends of Rye Foreshore, and Rye Camping Association. The Bunurong Land Council is a registered Aboriginal party for the Mornington Peninsula, and they are also invaluable in these projects and provided insights on the design and signage celebrating the role of Indigenous vegetation. So this project served as a valuable platform for community education on water-sensitive urban design, as well as stormwater treatment, and enhancing public awareness of sustainable urban water management practices. It also enabled us to see what's exactly possible for all these filtration systems around the bay, particularly on the Mornington Peninsula. And it's actually compelled other community groups across other townships to push the Shire for more water infiltration systems. I get plenty of emails about that. So the outcomes have been remarkable. We've seen enhanced water clarity, reduced visible litter, a significantly improved foreshore aesthetic, and it's all supported by an effective maintenance schedule and increased biodiversity. This project really demonstrates the value of integrated planning and the benefits of ongoing performance evaluations, providing a replicable model for community-led environmental innovation. It was awarded the Stormwater Victoria Industry Award in 2022 for infrastructure excellence. So looking ahead, the legacy of Rye Coastal Wetland will be its ongoing contribution to sustainable coastal water quality management and its potential to drive further environmental improvements across the Shire and outside the municipal boundaries as well. This initiative is a replicable model for similar coastal regions and sets a new benchmark for sustainable coastal management. All right, so next, changing tack slightly. Livable communities. So on the Mornington Peninsula, we receive about 8 million visitors a year, and Rye receives hundreds of thousands, probably in the millions of these as well. It's a popular picnic and recreational spot, and because of all these visitors, it draws in people from a lot of different ages and cultural backgrounds from Greater Melbourne. An audit of mobility scooter access on Rye Foreshore revealed that people with a physical disability were unable to enjoy our spaces due to the lack of appropriate facilities. All right, so here's an example of some of the stuff that we were dealing with all the way back from the 1980s. I'm sure you've seen these designs. So these were fairly uncomfortable for those with mobility issues, and it doesn't cater for anyone on a mobility scooter either. So Rye Community Group Alliance found that the Victorian Disability Discrimination Act doesn't always lead to the desired outcome for all, because it only contains minimum standards. And I think that's a really important point to reflect on, that even though places might be meeting the minimum standards required, it may not actually be the most optimal outcome for those in our community who need it. So a great example of this is this table, which the inclusion of an extended area is great for wheelchair access, but we still have a cross beam on that bench area, and that means for people with arthritis, it's not so great to try and lift your leg over and then use it. So we'd find that people would be resting with their back against that instead of using the table as they're meant to. And I think there was issues with the orientation causing sun to be in people's eyes. So the feedback from a community survey, the Shire's consultation, the Rye Township Plan, indicated that people wanted a sustainable foreshore that was accessible for all abilities. So the Rye Community Group Alliance worked alongside the Disability Advisory Committee at the Shire to do some more thorough consultation with those user groups to try and get some more optimal outcomes. And they sought funding through the Shire budget process, including writing budget submissions and making presentations to the council. Lost my pages, 1 second. So they were successful in their budget submission. and all accessible replacement furniture, and for an all-access precinct to be installed in Rye. So they attribute their success to highlighting the positive outcomes for all. So now contemporary accessible furniture has been installed on multiple sites on the Rye Foreshore. Here you can see an example of an all-accessible area facing the pier. So this furniture accommodates for people with back problems, as well as wheelchairs at both ends, and is easy to get in and out of because of the lack of those cross beams. So this is now the Shire's standard picnic furniture and has been rolled out across all townships across the peninsula. And here you can see the all-access precinct on Rye Foreshore. So this space was universally designed with picnic tables on a large aggregated concrete slab. And it's near barbecues facilities, the very popular children's playground, the car park, boardwalk, as well as a beach ramp and mat access. So you can see the photo here in the left of what it looked like prior, which isn't very good for anyone with mobility issues, and the improvement here on the right. So having hard structures enabling access for anyone in a wheelchair or using mobility aids, and the all-accessible furniture. So we've seen very high usage of these new facilities, and the anecdotal evidence thus far suggests that everyone's happy with the outcomes. And I'm just thinking whether I've received any emails, and I don't think so. It's probably one that I haven't. So that's a good thing. All right, the timing for these projects was perfect as the Shire was about to commence work on 2 state government funded projects for the foreshore. This included constructing a boardwalk to help mitigate the sand buildup, as well as works around the boat ramp area. So the Community Group Alliance worked with the Shire on the design of the boardwalk and the ramps. The installation of the recycled rubber boardwalk provides a stable flat walkway leading from the pier car park to the all-access precinct. So here's one of the beach accesses, and there's 3 of these across the boardwalk area, and a concrete ramp leading off the car park to the beach was also installed. And these projects had the added bonus of sorting out the issues with sand movement throughout those foreshore areas, which is causing significant problems as well. So Rye was also one of the 2 peninsula beaches that trialled this beach matting. It's rolled out seasonally during summer, and it allows very easy beach access for people in wheelchairs and parents, with strollers to the very safe water on the south shores of Port Phillip Bay. So this means everyone, regardless of mobility ability, can now enjoy and head down to the beach on an easy to navigate pathway. So the Group Alliance of members gained significant insight into the difficulties people with a disability encounter in open space areas, and recognition of the fact that people with a disability don't go to these lovely outdoor places simply because they're too hard to navigate. So working with Shire officers and members of the Disability Advisory Group resulted in the Community Group Alliance also successfully advocating for the implementation of a universal design policy at the Shire. As a result of this project, the Shire is now rolling out all accessible furniture across its open space areas. The furniture is purpose-built by a Shire contractor. So what we've achieved in Rye, we're all really proud of, and it's become the standard for Shire-managed foreshore areas, as well as other parts of the peninsula that aren't managed by the Shire, including committees of management. We don't know of any other volunteer community group or town that has planned and then set about systematically implementing an accessible for all foreshore strategy. So we're immensely proud of these project outcomes, particularly as they relate to the rest of the Shire and the impacts that it's made on all the other townships around the Mornington Peninsula. And that's all I've got for you today. So thanks so much.